Duck was in a great mood. The sun was out. The water was warm and she was ready to enjoy the day. What's a duck to do when she wants to have some fun? Go for a swim, of course. Duck splashed into the water and swam right into a tangle of pond grass. Maybe a quick flight around the pond would be better. Duck flew high into the air, but that didn't work out either. Duck thought for a second. What she really needed was a quiet stroll around the pond, but a group of ants wanted to take a quiet stroll all around her too. Duck was feeling stuck. It was still a beautiful day, but not for her. What else could a duck do for fun? She looked all around her. Then she got an idea. The toad seemed like she was having fun. Maybe Duck could hop around too. It turned out she was not very good at hopping, though. Duck heard the bluebird singing in the tree. Singing seemed fun. When Duck tried to sing, though, no one wanted to listen. By then, Duck was feeling tired. She spotted a turtle lying in the sun relaxing. That looked amazing. Duck sat on a different log and tried to settle down. Duck was in a great mood again. The sun was out, the water was warm, and she was feeling ready for a brand new adventure. Caterpillar crawled around the garden, but she knew she wouldn't have to walk around on her legs forever. "One day, I am going to fly," she said. Mouse scurried over. "Fly?" he said. "But you're a worm. Worms can't fly." "I'm not a worm," Caterpillar told him. "Just you wait and see." "When I have wings, I won't have to crawl around anymore," she said. But Rabbit was confused. "When you have wings?" she said. "But aren't you a slug? Slugs can't fly." "I'm not a slug," Caterpillar told her. "Just you wait and see." Skunk joined Rabbit and Mouse. "Where is that centipede going?" he asked. "I don't know, but she thinks she can fly," Mouse said. "She's going to be very disappointed when she finds out she can't," Skunk added. Caterpillar just smiled. "I'm not a worm, or a slug, or a centipede," she told them. "I am a caterpillar, and one day I will fly. Just you wait and see." Caterpillar dangled upside down from a branch to rest. Very slowly she began to build her cocoon. "She doesn't look like she's feeling well," Mouse said. "Maybe that's why she thought she could fly," Skunk replied. Soon enough, Caterpillar was in her cocoon. Mouse and Rabbit and Skunk were confused and maybe a little worried. "Do you think she'll come out soon?" Rabbit asked. "I hope so," Mouse said. After a long, snug nap, Caterpillar was ready. She shimmied and shook until she was free of her cocoon. But she wasn't a caterpillar anymore. She was a butterfly. "Wow," said Mouse. "She really can fly," exclaimed Rabbit. "I knew it all along," said Skunk. The animals gave a cheer as she flew high above them. Armadillo had a problem. It wasn't how strong his armor was. It was pretty strong, or how fast he could run. He was pretty fast. Or even how pointy his nose was. It was perfectly pointy. The problem was that he was supposed to be able to roll into a ball, and Armadillo couldn't quite get the hang of it. "Watch what I do," his mom told him. Armadillo watched carefully as his mom curled up into a tight ball of armor. But when Armadillo tried, well, it didn't go as planned. "All you have to do is think round thoughts," his dad told him, "and then curl up in a ball." Armadillo tried to think of round things like the moon and his favorite rock. When he tried to roll up, though, he still couldn't make it work. Armadillo decided to take matters into his own hands. He jumped into the air and tucked himself in. He used a rock to push himself into a nice, even circle. This was getting frustrating. Then Armadillo had an idea. Maybe if he had something to roll down, he'd finally get it right. He thought about all the things he'd need to do to roll into a ball. Duck his head, tuck his legs, chuck his tail in. Armadillo took a deep breath. He could do this. He was right! His parents were waiting at the bottom of the hill. "You were on a roll," his dad said. "We knew you could do it," his mom said. Armadillo knew that he could do it too. The ocean was the perfect place for Seahorse to live. He was happiest among the heavy rocks and strong coral. It was his favorite place to watch kelp dance in the current. Seahorse's best friend Jellyfish floated around without a care in the world. "You should try floating," she told Seahorse. "It's relaxing." But Seahorse thought floating around looked scary. So Seahorse held on tight to whatever he could. He'd cling to the rocks, the coral, even the kelp sometimes. It felt safer to hold on to something. One day, a bad storm came. Seahorse was anxious. He wasn't taking any chances. He wrapped himself around a sturdy piece of kelp and held on tight. Seahorse was safe, but he could see that Jellyfish was not. The rough seas were carrying her away. Jellyfish might float away and never come back. As Seahorse watched his friend struggle, he made a decision. No matter how scary it was, he had to help Jellyfish. He breathed deeply through his gills and let go of the coral. "Hold on," he called. "I'm coming." At first, he worried the current would carry him away too. He'd never been so scared in his whole life. But he grabbed hold of Jellyfish's tentacles and held on tight. Together, they wrapped themselves around the strong coral and held on. The storm swirled around them, but they were safe and sound. Finally, the sea was calm again. "That was scary," Jellyfish said. "Thank you for saving me." Seahorse felt brave for doing that. If he could let go during the storm, maybe he could do it now too. Seahorse looked at Jellyfish floating in the current. It didn't look so scary anymore. "I'd like to try floating with you," Seahorse told his friend. "Great, hold on," she said. Together they floated and danced around the sea. Scorpion and Mouse had been best friends since they could remember. "We'll be friends forever," said Scorpion. "Forever and ever," said Mouse. "Let's slide down the dune," Scorpion exclaimed. "You read my mind," replied Mouse. "It's one of my favorite things to do." "Ready to race to the top of the cactus?" called Mouse. "I'm going to get there first this time," replied Scorpion. Scorpion didn't reach the top first, but she didn't mind. Sometimes it got so hot that they didn't want to do anything at all, but they still did it together. Then one day Toad arrived. "It's nice to meet you," Mouse said. "Let's be friends," Scorpion cheered. "Awesome, I have so many ideas for games," Toad exclaimed. "I'm having so much fun. Now want to make sand art?" asked Toad. Scorpion couldn't wait to try something new. Sand art sounded amazing. She and Toad were having a great time together playing so many games. But where was Mouse? Scorpion hadn't seen her all day. Scorpion scurried up to the cactus to check on Mouse. "Don't you want to play with Toad and me?" Scorpion asked. "I do want to play with you and Toad," Mouse told her, "but I don't think I fit in with Toad's new games." Scorpion didn't realize that Mouse felt that way. I like playing the new games, but I miss playing with you, she said. Let's play the old games and we can show you how to play the new. You mean we can still slide down the dune? Mouse asked. Yes, we can do that together, Scorpion said. Do you want to try sliding down the dune? Mouse asked Toad. That sounds really fun, Toad replied. Toad kept getting stuck in the sand, but he didn't mind. Afterward, they were tired, so they sat in the shade to make some sand art. Two old friends and their new friend, too. There were so many things Wombat was supposed to do every day, but Wombat was tired of doing what she's supposed to do. Don't forget to brush your teeth, her dad called. Wombat sighed. Have you eaten your veggies? Wombat's dad asked. But Wombat didn't want to eat any veggies. Do you know what time it is? Her dad asked her. Wombat just grumbled. What was that? Her dad asked. Bedtime, Wombat replied. The next morning, Wombat knew what she had to do. I need a vacation from all the stuff I'm supposed to do, she told her dad. He said. Maybe you should give it a try. Wombat couldn't wait. Wombat didn't eat a single veggie all day. She didn't brush her teeth or wash her face. Bedtime came and went, but Wombat didn't care. This is the best vacation ever, Wombat declared. The next morning, Wombat felt weird. Her teeth were kind of yucky, her belly felt a little funny. She was very, very tired. Wombat knew what she had to do. She brushed her teeth. She ate her veggies right away. She even made plans to go to bed a little early that night. Are you still on vacation? Wombat's dad asked. No, I'm back, she replied. Vacation was fun, but she's glad she's home again. Raccoon met up with Possum and Owl every night to play together. It was always easy to tell exactly what Possum was thinking. When he was happy, he looked really happy. When he was sad, he looked really sad. But sometimes Owl was harder to figure out. One night, Raccoon thought Owl looked grumpy. Are you okay? Raccoon asked him. Yes, I was just thinking about the nice flight I took with my mom earlier, Owl replied. It was amazing. Oh, Raccoon said. The next night, Owl still looked upset. Is everything all right? Raccoon asked. Do you want to take some deep breaths with me to calm down? Calm down, Owl replied. But I feel great. And when Raccoon got a new camera, Owl seemed a little jealous. You can borrow it if you'd like, Raccoon offered. But Owl wasn't feeling jealous. He was feeling sleepy. How was Raccoon supposed to tell what Owl was thinking when his face never gave anything away? Possum, you always seem to understand what Owl's thinking, Raccoon said, but he always looks exactly the same. How do you do it? His face doesn't change, Possum replied, but other things do. When Owl's hungry, he scrunches up his shoulders, Possum continues. What about when he's happy? Raccoon asked. Then he spreads his wings wide, Possum tells him. Wow, said Raccoon. Now I think I understand. Thank you. The next night, Raccoon saw that Owl had his shoulders scrunched up. He knew exactly what to do. Would you like to share my snack? Raccoon asked. I was just thinking about getting food, said Owl, That would be wonderful! T-Rex was a dinosaur who loved the quieter things in life. In fact, his favorite things were reading at the top of the cliff and learning about plants and flowers. He enjoyed gazing up at the stars and thinking about how they got there and what makes them sparkle. T-Rex's big sister did not approve of these favorite things. "You're a carnivore," she told him. "You're supposed to roar and stomp and frighten the other dinosaurs. That's what T-Rexes do." "But I'm not good at those things," T-Rex replied. T-Rex wanted to be a good carnivore. He really did. He just wasn't sure how. When he roared, he didn't like the way it sounded. While he wanted to stomp around like his sister, he'd much rather stop and collect rocks. But the hardest part by far was scaring other dinosaurs, especially since he'd much rather be friends with them. "Do I seem scary to you?" T-Rex asked. "Do you want to seem scary to me?" Edmontosaurus replied. "Not really," T-Rex admitted. "I guess I don't really like being scary." "What do you like?" Edmontosaurus asked. No one had ever asked T-Rex that before. "I love reading," he told his new friend, "and gazing at the stars." "I like those things too," Edmontosaurus said. "You do?" T-Rex asked. "That's so cool! Do you like quiet walks too?" "They're my favorite kind," he told him, "especially if I eat plants along the way." T-Rex was happy to hear that, but then he thought about his sister. "I guess that means I'm not a very good carnivore," he sighed. "Is there only one way to be a carnivore?" Edmontosaurus asked. For the first time ever, T-Rex wondered. "Maybe there isn't," T-Rex said. "Maybe it's enough to be good at being myself." "That's an important thing to be good at," his friend said. "Do you want to take a walk together?" And that's exactly what they did. When Snow Monkey woke up in the morning, she had a perfect plan for all the fun things she was going to do that day, and there were so many fun things to do. First, Snow Monkey planned to climb to the top of the tallest tree. Next, she was going to look for her favorite fruits to eat. Then she was going to leap from branch to branch on her way back down. While she was having some breakfast, though, something was off. Snow Monkey felt a little chilly. "It must be because fall is coming," she told herself. "That's why I'm cold." But then her head started hurting too. Snow Monkey was getting sick, and if there was one thing she hated, it was getting sick and missing out on all the fun. "Dad, I don't feel so good," Snow Monkey said. "Good thing I'm here to take care of you," he replied. That was a good thing. No one took care of her like her dad did. "I have the perfect plan to help you feel better," her dad told her, "including a nice warm bath to take your chills away." Snow Monkey stayed in the water until there wasn't a single chill left in her. "What's next on your plan, Dad?" Snow Monkey asked. "Now that your chills are gone, you need some rest," he replied. So Snow Monkey curled up for a nap. When Snow Monkey woke up, she was feeling better. "What's next on your plan?" she asked her dad. "A cool drink of water and some apples to keep your strength up," he told her. Snow Monkey did love apples. After she ate, Snow Monkey realized something. Her chills and headache were gone, she felt nice and rested, and the apples had given her lots of energy. "Dad, your plan really was perfect," she told him. "I feel better. And now I have a perfect plan for you and me," she said. Snow Monkey climbed the tallest tree, found more apples to eat, and leaped from branch to branch on the way down, all with her dad by her side. Daisy lived in the woods with tall trees all around her. The trees gave her shade and sheltered her from bad weather. She had grown used to being the only flower. Sometimes the trees chatted amongst themselves. Daisy liked to listen to the whispers of the leaves as the trees talked, but they were up so high and she was down so low. She could never make out what they were saying. This made Daisy feel lonely. She wished she had someone to talk to. It would be nice to have someone like her who was on the ground level. Then something unexpected happened. A chance seed blew in and took root next to her. Daisy watched as the seed began to sprout. Daisy wanted to be happy about the sprout, but she was filled with worries. What if this new plant wasn't so friendly? What if they didn't get along? But what if the new plant was friendly? What if they got along beautifully? This could be Daisy's big chance to make a friend. Daisy wished the sprout could grow faster so she could meet her neighbor. The big day finally arrived. The new plant's bud unfurled. Poppy was brightly colored and her petals were frilled and fancy. She didn't look anything like Daisy. Daisy wasn't so sure they'd get along after all. Daisy saw Poppy looking at the trees as the leaves whispered to each other. "Do you know what they're saying?" Poppy asked. "No," Daisy replied, "they're too far away." "I wonder if they're talking about the squirrels and the birds," Poppy said. "I wonder if they're talking about the clouds and the sun," Daisy replied. Daisy and Poppy looked at each other. "We could talk about all of those things together," Daisy almost whispered. Daisy had grown used to being the only flower in the forest. She had grown used to being alone, but now she wasn't lonely anymore. In the vast, mucky swamp lived a very small reptile. Crocodile loved the swamp, but more than anything, he loved his mom. He especially loved it when she carried him around in her mouth. Thankfully, his mom took him with her everywhere. Together, they went down to the river. They sunned themselves on the warm sand. They even crept into high grass sometimes for a snooze. When Crocodile was with his mom, he felt warm and cozy and safe. When the hawk came around, his mom squared her legs and snapped her jaw. That scared away the hawk and made Crocodile feel safe again. One day, Crocodile's mom didn't take him with her. "I need to find us some food," she told Crocodile. "What should I do while you're gone?" he asked her. She smiled at him. "Rest on this warm rock. I'll see you in a while." "She hasn't gone far," Crocodile told himself. "She'll be back soon." But knowing that didn't make being apart any easier. After all, there were strange sounds in the vast, mucky swamp. A twig broke. Crocodile's eyes widened. A bird swooped down. He jumped up, startled. "I know she'll be back soon," he said again, "but I'm still worried." He wasn't sure what to do to make himself feel better. Then he had an idea. What would my mom do if she was worried or scared? Crocodile wondered. Then he knew. First, she'd get nice and warm in the sun, gathering strength from it. Then, she'd square her legs and snap her jaw, just like she did when the hawk came. "I can do this," Crocodile told himself. So he gave it a try. "It works!" he exclaimed. Crocodile already felt better. Just then, he heard rustling in the high grass. Crocodile got ready to be brave again, but it was his mom. Goat and Dog and Chicken lived on a farm. There was plenty of room and lots of activities to play together. Goat loved nothing more than playing with her friends. Their friendship was perfect, except for one thing. Goat always had to do everything first. Follow the Leader was Dog's favorite game, but she never got a chance to be the leader. Chicken loved jump rope, but she always ended up swinging the rope with Dog instead of jumping. There was one game they all loved to play equally, Climb the Boulder. It was the biggest boulder on the farm and so much fun to climb. Dog and Chicken would have loved to lead the way, but... "I reached the top first again," said Goat. "Isn't that amazing?" "Not really," replied Dog. "It's only because you never let us climb up first," Chicken pointed out. "We should all take turns being first." "What do you mean?" Goat asked. "I only go first because I'm the fastest climber. If you two were faster, I'd let you climb up first." "But you do the same thing in Follow the Leader," Dog said. "And jump rope," Chicken added. But Goat wasn't listening anymore. She was already on top of the big boulder again with a huge smile on her face. When she looked down to see her friends, her smile faded. Her friends looked frustrated and upset. Goat felt confused and sad. She wasn't sure what to do at first. Then Goat climbed down the boulder. "I'm sorry I didn't listen to you," she told Dog and Chicken. "Can we still play together?" "Of course," Chicken said, "but we want to take turns going first." "Great, let's climb the boulder," Goat said. She wanted to go first, but knew it wasn't her turn. "Do you want to go first?" she asked Dog. Dog happily nodded. Goat climbed up last. It wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be. Plus, she got to watch her friends climb. Dog clung low to the boulder. Chicken spread her wings to help her balance. Her friends were so good at this. Sometimes Goat still had to remind herself to take turns, but she always did her best. Ready, set, go! Beluga and Narwhal were off, racing through the icy Arctic waters. The course twisted and turned. Beluga and Narwhal swam around the edge of a giant iceberg. They glided under an ice shelf. They sped through an icy tunnel beneath the Arctic Ocean. Determination drove them both. They each wanted to win, but then... they skidded to a stop. The finish line was just up ahead, but the passage to it had frozen over. Beluga and Narwhal looked through the ice, unsure what to do. Beluga had a strong tail. She knew she could use it to swish away broken bits of ice after it cracked. It was getting it to crack in the first place that was the problem. Narwhal had a strong tusk. He knew he could use it to crack through the ice. It was clearing it away once it cracked that was the problem. They both wanted to win this race, so Beluga and Narwhal worked alone to break through the barrier. But it was no use. Neither of them could get through. Beluga and Narwhal met each other partway across the ice wall. "We're getting nowhere," said Beluga. Narwhal sighed. "Maybe we should work together." Narwhal cracked, Beluga swiped. Soon, they made a hole in the ice big enough for them to pass through. "I couldn't have gotten through without you," Beluga said. "Neither could I," Narwhal replied. Then they turned to face the finish line. Beluga knew she could propel herself ahead of Narwhal. She could win. Narwhal knew he could use his tusk to push Beluga aside. He could win. They looked at each other. There was another option. "We could cross the finish line together," suggested Beluga, "just this once." "And next time I'll win," Narwhal said. Then they both called out, "Ready, set, go!" Once upon a time, there was a very happy fish. Guppy lived in a majestic castle with a mosaic of colorful gravel on the floor. Food magically appeared every day for him to eat. There was a palm tree to relax under and a chest filled with treasure. At least Guppy thought it was full of treasure. He couldn't actually get it open. Guppy knew that there had to be a way to get inside the chest. He tried to open it with his mouth. Then he tried again and again. Guppy was no longer a happy fish. He thought the chest was full of treasure, but he didn't think he'd ever be able to open it. Discouraged, Guppy returned to his castle and his palm tree. But before long, Guppy started to wonder about the treasure chest again. He was more determined than ever. Had he really tried every possible way to get it open? He swam the treasure chest high up in the water. Then he waited for it to crash down and open. And waited. And waited. Any other fish might have given up, but not Guppy. He nudged his palm tree over to the chest and pushed it onto its side. It was hard work. Guppy swam underneath and pushed up on the palm tree using all his strength. Then something amazing happened. When he looked inside, he saw himself. The treasure was him. Guppy saw a proud fish who hadn't given up. Once upon a time, there was a very happy fish. Guppy had a majestic castle, a mosaic of colorful gravel, and a treasure chest that he could peek into any time. Year after year after year, Asteroid moved steadily around in her orbit. It wasn't a fast-paced life, but Asteroid liked that. Then, everything changed when Comet came through. Comet moved fast and talked even faster. She was nothing like Asteroid. Asteroid liked Comet, though. Together, they gazed at the stars. They watched Jupiter and his moons dance around the sun. Side by side, they watched as a strange new object whizzed by. Asteroid had become used to Comet's chatter and enthusiasm, but then she started to feel Comet drift away. "I have to leave soon," Comet told her. "I still have a long way to go around the sun, but I'll visit as soon as I can." Things weren't the same after Comet left. Asteroid missed Comet's chatter and looking at the stars and planets with her. Year after year, she wondered when she would see her friend again. Then, one day, Asteroid saw something in the distance. Asteroid and Comet were thrilled to see each other again. They had so many stories to share. The two of them gazed at the stars. They watched the planets and moons together, but they knew that Comet had to leave again. They also knew that Comet would visit again as soon as she could, and Asteroid would be eagerly awaiting her return. The leaves had already fallen when Squirrel moved into his new tree. He was excited to live on his own. Winter was on its way, but Squirrel knew he'd be able to get ready in time. Soon, Chipmunk came to welcome Squirrel to the neighborhood. "I brought you some seeds and nuts. Chipmunk told Squirrel. "I've been planning for winter for months, so I have plenty to share." "No, thank you," Squirrel said. "I can find my own." "But it's late in the season," Chipmunk replied, "so food will be hard to find." Didn't Chipmunk know that Squirrel could prepare on his own? "I don't need your help," Squirrel told him. "I can take care of myself." "How hard could it be to find food for the winter?" Squirrel said to himself. "I can do this. I don't need anyone's help." Squirrel looked up trees and under bushes. "There has to be food somewhere," Squirrel muttered. He searched through the tall grass and along the frozen water. But he didn't find any food to store away for the winter. Squirrel was feeling frustrated. "Why can't I find anything? This should be easier." He sat in the snow and tried to figure out what to do next. He had to do this all by himself, didn't he? "But maybe I can't," he admitted at last. Squirrel knew he had to ask Chipmunk for help. "I couldn't find any food for the winter," Squirrel told Chipmunk. "I need your help after all." Chipmunk smiled at him. "Sure," he said, "it's hard when it's so late in the season, but I really do have enough for two." Winter was here, but Squirrel didn't have to worry about it anymore. His new tree was full of tasty treats, and he couldn't wait to share the season with his new friend. Bike gleefully rolled away from the backyard shed that she shared with her parents. She just got her training wheels taken off and loved all of the new things she could do now. Every day she raced with her parents, turning sharp corners and going as fast as she could. One day, something even more exciting happened. Her parents told her they were getting a new family member. Bike couldn't wait to play with her little sibling. Then, Baby Trike arrived. Baby Trike was small and cute, but he wasn't much fun. It seemed as if Baby Trike only liked taking naps, and he did that all the time. Even when he was awake, Baby Trike wasn't what Bike had expected. Baby Trike had 3 wheels instead of 2. He had bright streamers instead of streamlined handlebars. Would Baby Trike be more fun if he could pop wheelies? Bike decided to show him how, but when she pushed Baby Trike ahead so he could try, he tipped over. Then he began to cry and cry and cry. Bike's parents explained that Baby Trike was smaller than her. He couldn't do all the things a bigger bicycle could do. Bike understood, but she was still disappointed. Slowly, Baby Trike began rolling around a little on his own. He wasn't doing wheelies or going fast around turns, but he was riding along nonetheless. Baby Trike rolled again, this time a little further. He tried to get up a little hill, but he couldn't quite make it. Bike knew that he needed some help. Over and over again, Bike nudged Baby Trike up the little slope. Side by side, the two of them would glide back down together. Soon, they were feeling tired. So together, they did what Baby Trike did best. Take a nap. It was the first day of school, and Flamingo was excited and nervous. After all, he didn't know any of the other birds. He had no idea what to expect when he got there. When he arrived, his teacher was greeting the students. Flamingo didn't know where to look first. There were birds everywhere. It was a little overwhelming. The new birds he met were so talented. During morning meeting, Nightingale sang every note beautifully. Flamingo did not. During art, Bowerbird made an impressive sculpture. Flamingo did not. During science, Crow completed the experiment perfectly. Flamingo did not. The first day of school was not going well. Finally, it was time for the last class of the day. Flamingo thought PE would be the worst of all. Then his teacher started playing music. They were all going to dance. Flamingo was excited to start, but he felt shy because no one else was dancing yet. Then he began to move his head to the music. Soon enough, Flamingo was doing his best fancy footwork. The other birds started asking Flamingo to teach them some of his moves. Flamingo was surprised. These birds seemed so good at everything. All around him, his new friends were asking for help and receiving it. Maybe it was okay not to be good at everything. Maybe Flamingo could ask for help too. By the time Flamingo flew home, he wasn't feeling as worried about school anymore. On the second day of school, he knew what to expect. Flamingo was ready to have fun and learn from his new friends. All around Sloth, animals seemed to be living life in the fast lane. Some were gliding through the leafy treetops. Some were racing around on the shady ground. Sloth, however, was very happy with life in the slow lane. She slept. She ate. She slept some more. But one day, as she was snoozing, squeak! Sloth looked around to find what had made that sound, but she didn't see a thing. That meant it was nap time again. As soon as she started to doze off again, squeak! 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 Sloth opened her eyes to find a tiny orange face staring down at her. Squeak! Tamarin jumped and continued squeaking as he ran far too quickly through the trees. This would not do. It was time to take action. Again and again, Sloth politely asked Tamarin to keep it down. But every time, squeak! Squeak! Sloth considered herself to be a calm mammal. But right then, she began to lose her temper. Very, very slowly. The two animals stood face to face. Sloth explained that sleeping quietly was just what she did. Tamarin explained that making squeaky noises was just what he did. Sloth felt like she was going to lose her cool again. Instead, she took a deep breath and tried to slow down even more than usual. Then she had an idea. Sloth could sleep sometimes and Tamarin would stay quiet. Tamarin could squeak sometimes and Sloth would hang out with him. They both liked the idea. Tamarin even made a schedule. Soon, they were taking turns napping and playing throughout the day. Tamarin got to live the fast and squeaky life. Sloth got to live the slow and easy life. And the two of them got to meet in the middle. Bat's home was a vast cave filled with jagged rocks and exciting pathways. It was the best home in the entire world. He shared it with Dad and lots of other bats. But he was not like them. Every night, Bat flew out of the cave to explore the deep, dark night like the other bats. Every night he wanted to stay home and do his own thing instead. Everything is so beautiful at night, his dad told him. I can't understand why you don't love it. I go out in the night all the time, Bat groaned. It's boring. But think about the starlight, Dad said. Starlight is overrated, Bat replied. The sounds of the night are so lovely, Dad told Bat. They're just sounds, Bat argued. It's not music or anything. Even you have to agree that the shadows the trees cast in the moonlight are intriguing, Dad added. The shadows are my least favorite part of the night, Bat informed him. I don't even want to go flying at night anymore, Bat declared. But all bats love to glide through the night sky, Dad told him. Are you feeling okay? Is everything all right? I'm fine, Bat said with a sigh. When the time came to leave the cave again, his dad said, "Let's just do it together this one time. Then you can decide whether you want to fly tomorrow night." "Fine." Bat reluctantly followed. "That shadow looks like a giant mushroom to me," Dad told Bat. "And that one looks a little bit like a raccoon." Bat said. He could see the shapes now, but he didn't want to admit it. "Do you hear the frogs singing to each other?" Dad asked. "Frogs can sing?" Bat wondered. He didn't want to be interested, but he sort of was. "It's a beautiful night to look at the stars," Dad told him. "Even the ones that aren't up in the sky," Bat replied. As Bat watched the fireflies and stars that night, he realized that maybe he had been missing out all this time. Bat smiled at his dad. "I guess the night isn't so bad. Maybe I'll fly with you tomorrow too."